Okay, so we're all set up for a few days out here. This week we're in regional Victoria, so we thought we'd take the long weekend and take advantage of it and drive a couple of hours outside of Melbourne towards Bendigo Way at this lovely little spot here. It's called Pebbleridge, so I'll talk a little bit more about where we're staying and show you a bit around later on in the episode. But yeah, we just got here. It's late afternoon, so we've just finished setting up behind us, so we're all ready to go. Pretty tired, long drive, and it's been a big week for both of us as well. So I think we're pretty much ready for dinner, but first of all I might grab a drink, of course, and set up our little fire over here. So we've got plenty of wood here. That should last us a couple of nights, which is really good. So yeah, I might set up the fire and crack open a drink and just chill out for a few hours.
This weekend, we set off from home in the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne and drive the 134 kilometres up to Maldon in the Victorian Goldfields.
So we're staying at a place called Pebbleridge Camp. We found it on Hipcamp, and it's about 2 hours outside of Melbourne. Not too far from Bendigo, kind of between Bendigo and Ballarat, right in the middle of the goldfields as well. And it's near a little town called Maldon, probably about 10 minutes outside of the town. Yeah, a little bit more about this campground. So Pebbleridge, you might see behind me, kind of gets its name from all the giant granite pebbles or boulders all over the place, and they're kind of scattered all around the hillside, which is really cool. This campground overlooks the valley as well, so you can see kind of Mount Tarrengower behind me and the tower up there as well, which is pretty cool. And on the other side you can also see the massive Cancurran Reservoir as well, which is really cool. So all spots here have amazing views. And it's really just a stunning little spot to kind of set up camp and just have a look outside and admire the views. I think there's about 8 camp spots here, and they're all really spread out, which is really good. So I can kind of see a few people in the distance, but really you've got a massive campground. As you can see behind me, like our spot is just absolutely massive. And there's just plenty of room for everyone as well, which is really good. You're not all kind of squeezed together. There's plenty of spaced out, which is really nice. And dogs are allowed, which is, of course, a requirement for us, bringing Archie along with us. As long as you can keep him controlled, because there are sheep that roam the area. I don't know where they are at the moment. Kind of in the middle of the day, they kind of all go hiding somewhere, and they come out at dusk and dawn and start eating the grass and wandering around and everything. And Archie's really interested in them, but he kind of keeps his distance. He doesn't really get too close. And there's also some kangaroos about as well, so plenty of wildlife. And yeah, it's just a gorgeous little spot to set up camp for a few days. Obviously it's totally off grid, so there's no bathrooms, no laundries, no water, no power. So you have to be 100% fully off grid and bring your own loo and clean up after yourself, of course. Don't leave any rubbish behind, that's really important. And all campsites have a campfire behind me. You can see just over there, we've got a little setup with our wood and our chairs. So that's really cool. Get that on later on this afternoon and as the sun goes down as well. And you really get some amazing sunsets here as well. So yeah, we've stayed here a couple of nights already, and every night the sunset's just down there and it's just stunning, really nice. Another thing as well, which I forgot to mention, last night we had the most incredible moon. It was a super moon, and I don't think I've ever seen the moon so big before. It was just absolutely enormous. So I threw the drone up and got some really cool shots. It kind of doesn't really do it justice from the drone footage. I thought I was going to capture some beauties with the moon just being so massive, but it yeah, kind of doesn't do it justice. But believe me, it was massive. Couldn't believe how big it was. So yeah, and when the sun goes down, the moon comes up and the stars come out. The stars here are just sensational as well. I've captured some really cool like star time-lapse things as well. So just playing around with that at the moment, and those have been really cool as well. But yeah, a really good spot, and you know, just to be so close to Melbourne, 2 hours, and it costs 35 bucks a night, so really affordable as well, which is really great. And you've got phone reception as well, so it's kind of ticks all the boxes for us. It's got everything, and yeah, not too far from Melbourne, but quiet enough to just kind of enjoy yourself and get away from the hustle and bustle. So yeah, if you're ever looking for a nice little camp, definitely check out Pebbleridge Camp on Hipcamp. Sorry, there's a few flies around, just wafting the air around, but yeah, check out Pebbleridge Camp on Hipcamp. It's definitely worth coming to check out when you're in the area. Lots of flies.
Now that we've only got weekends away to explore places, we're looking at places that are probably less than 3 hours drive from home. And so we're trying to find interesting places. And one of those was Maldon. And I've heard of it before, didn't really know much about it. I knew it was out here in the Goldfields. And so we thought we'd come and explore.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting fact about Maldon is that it's Australia's first notable town. We didn't know what that meant either, but it really means that it's kind of been preserved as it was in the gold mining era. And there's a lot of buildings, a lot of old buildings that date back like over 100 years even. And so it's kind of like Australia's first fully preserved town as it was as much
like
as
a historic tourist town.
Yeah,
almost.
Exactly like a historic tourist town. So that happened in 1966. So yeah, there's a lot of history here. And yeah, smack bang in the middle of the gold mine. So you know, that we might go prospecting later on, maybe.
Maybe. It's a pretty hot day today.
It is hot day today, but so it's a beautiful little town. We took a little drive through it before, but there's so many little quirky shops and things that I really want to kind of go and check out. Even
the petrol station. So we had a quick drive through town because we needed fuel. And even the petrol station is the old school, sort of in front of a shop front, a mechanic, and guy comes out and fills your tank.
The guy came out and filled our tank. I reckon it's been like 30 years since I've seen anyone do that.
I know. So I'm really keen to get back into Maldon and maybe not just a drive-through, but explore some of the shops and things.
Yeah, I reckon we do that. So let's go into Maldon and see what we can find.
Okay, I'll go put some sun cream on first.
Daisies blooming, sundress swaying in the breeze. I can't stop staring. You've put a spell on me, and I hope that you never decide to set me free. The way you're moving, it's got me moving my own feet. The greatest feeling that I could ever dare to dream is you forever moving next to me.
We've just come up the hill from Maldon and we are here at Mount Tarrengower. Now, there's a lookout tower here and it is for fire spotting in the area. The views are incredible. There are 360-degree views and it is manned for about 125 days of the year, so the time when there are potentially fires. The area's also got some really interesting history. It's thought that the word Tarrengower comes from the Aboriginal meaning big rough hill, and we are pretty much in the centre of Victoria if you actually map it out now, and it is also a real hub from the gold mining era. Already at this first platform, the views are incredible. We're really high up and yeah, you can see for miles in every direction. There's also this here so we can work out what it is that we're looking at. And this is the next platform. So the actual lookout, you have to go up this ladder, but it's locked. So you can't get right to the top, but to be honest, you don't need to because it's spectacular from this level.
So about 5 minutes before you get into Maldon, just before the town, just on the side of the road, there's this massive machinery, and we drove past it on the way in, and we were just like, what on earth is that? So we thought we'd come back here, and it's actually a dredge and dragway that was used in the gold mining period in around 1950. But by the time they brought it here, they didn't really get much use out of it at all. So it's actually spent most of its life just sitting here behind me, just rotting away for the last kind of 50 years or so. So the dredge is behind me, and here's the other section of it just there. So pretty amazing to see this machinery just on the side of the road, but yeah, it's also an awesome little spot for a picnic. Well, it's that time of day, sun's going down, it's getting a little bit cooler. I think it's time to get the fire going, crack open a beer, and get dinner going as well. Let's get started.